Hi, it's Nikki from Plant Parenthood. I'm about to fix up some of my anthuriums. It is getting way too hot to keep them outside, so I am going to move them inside, but I'm going to put them in things that still dry out, still going to be in sphagnum, kind of a chunky sphagnum, and mounted. So they've got to come inside. It's too hot, they're drying out, and they are suffering. Also, my damn squirrels are getting into some of them, and they're really in there just trying to bury their acorns and nuts and stuff because the winter is coming. But in the meantime, they are digging out all my plants, not all of them, I'm exaggerating, but lots of them. And the anthuriums are particularly attractive. I don't know why. So I'm going to have to bring them inside. I'm going to give them a glow up and get them ready to come in for winter, even though at 106 degrees outside, it seems like winter's a long time away. But they're just not doing well. So in they come. All right, let's get to it. All right, got my Starbucks. Got my Anthurium Gracilis, Gracile or Gracilis, I forget exactly. But this is a beautiful plant, but you can see it's getting crispy and it is getting floppy up here. I bought it mounted to this piece of cork from the nursery, and all of this stuff at the top has fallen out. It wasn't real secure. So I'm going to do that while still giving them areas to breathe, give them room to breathe. These seed pods have bloomed and they're spent, so I'm going to trim it up and I'm going to give it a good soak, and I'm going to put it in my bedroom or bathroom. I'll show you where I hang it later, but the thing that I'm going to start with is fishing line, and I'm going to get probably more than I actually need. And I'm going to find a spot to start it. And there's fishing line in the back. It is getting a little saggy over time, so I'm probably going to do a complete refresh. But I'm going to leave this on here because the sphagnum is still good. It's just super compacted. So I think what I'm going to do is gently rest it against here, so I'm not breaking anything. And I'm going to start my knot, and I'm going to leave myself a tail on this knot because I do what's called a surgeon's knot, which means it holds really, really well. And basically what it means, instead of just going once under, go twice under. And I'm going to start it over here and pull tight. It won't slip. It won't give. That surgeon's knot will keep it just right. And then what I do is I do square knots, and I do quite a few. I probably overdo it, but can you really overdo it? I don't think so. So we're going to do that. And I am going to start by packing this around. Actually, I'm going to trim some of this up and make sure I don't cut anything I'm not supposed to. This leaf right here looks terrible. It's been eaten up by something, so I'm going to take that off. It's just a really good time to just kind of freshen everything up. And I'm probably going to just cut the brown spot off of that one. Not that it needed to be necessarily, it's just an aesthetics thing that I don't like to see brown on the plants excessively. I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid altogether, but all right, I'm gonna just give it a little clean up here. Oh, I've got new growth coming, which is good. So the plant is still happy. I just know, I mean, I'm having to water it every day. And when I say water, I mean soak it. Kind of like you would do a fern. I just like dunk it in water and I'll let it soak. And it's just getting to be too much because I'm having to do that every day, even though they are kept in strict shade. They only get indirect light. Here, this tendril right here is still doing very well, so I'm going to leave it. So anyway, I mean, this doesn't bother me too bad. I probably am going to just trim some of it. This leaf had clearly a hard time unfurling because the humidity also right now is down. I just broke that. Fantastic, Nikki. Oh, well. All right. So I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. All right. So I'm going to just pack some sphagnum around the top here where the roots are and they're kind of waggly. And then I'm going to give it kind of a refresher down here. I've let my sphagnum soak for about 30 minutes. And then I give it just like how you would wring out a sponge, like a kitchen sponge. And I'm going to pack it behind here. I'm going to start from the back, kind of work myself up to the front. And honestly, I can't remember if sphagnum was all the way up top on this plant when I bought it. I haven't had this one very long. I've had it since about April or May, I guess. This is a relatively new Anthurium to me. But after all the watering and everything, it's possible that either the greenhouse should have done it or I should have done it. I don't know. But anyway, doesn't matter. We're doing it today. That's what counts. And giving it a new life. I'm not packing the sphagnum in very tight at all because Anthurium like to have their roots. They're like orchids in that they're actually not like orchids, but they are epiphytes, I think. Every single Anthurium that I've had has really enjoyed the epiphytic life. I am not an Anthurium expert. I don't claim to be. I'm still learning a lot about them. And I do like these kind of creepier Anthuriums. I'm really not into the Anthuriums yet. Don't hold me to it. You never know. I could catch the Anthurium bug and it could get weird, like the Hoyas got weird. But right now, I admire these kind of Anthurium that do kind of weird, freaky things. I'm not really into the Anthurium that are perfect and beautiful. La, 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 la. I have a pendants. It's actually fake pendants that the squirrels got into. I'll show you here in a sec. We'll do that one. I may do that one on a separate video because this video is going to be too long. But all right, so I did that. I'm going to put some on the bottom here, just kind of freshen it up. And since I'm bringing it into my house, and I'm probably going to hang it on my bedroom wall, because I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but I went plant lady crazy, and I've added grow lights to my windows. So I'm like, oh, look, I can add more plants. I'm going to a nursery tomorrow. Actually, the nursery where I got this one from, I'm going tomorrow in Seguin, Texas. And I'm going to go crazy. I already know it. And it's really dumb this time of year to go crazy because it's all fun and games till they got to come inside. But somehow that doesn't resonate with me. I've had a tough week at work. And I have found that I certainly do retail plant therapy shopping, and that's exactly what I plan on doing tomorrow. So I cannot be held responsible for what's about to happen. But okay, so now that I've kind of layered the moss on there, I'm going to start wrapping it pretty tightly around the moss, and I'm going to run out of string really quickly. But this gets me a good start, and I'm going to, well, that was dumb, Nikki, but that's okay. All right, another surgeon's knot just to get it started. I should have gotten way more than I did, but that's okay. And I'm going to get more. I always leave the tails on all my string until I know for sure I don't need them, because every once in a while you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd left the tail on that because I need something to tie it to. I'm getting what we call a you-know-what ton of line, and I'm going to attach it. I know you can't really see what I'm doing here, but I'm attaching it to one of these tails. Again, using a surgeon's knot. procedure, and the squirrels are just going insane outside, and they are teasing my dogs, and that's how it is. That's how nature works. So they're tearing up my plants and terrorizing my dogs, and I'm just dealing with it. Okay, so I'm going to continue to wrap. I'm going to carefully work my way up this. Oh, it's okay. Work myself up the Anthurium, and I'm trying not to go too tightly across these growth points and trying to not strangle anything. The object right now is to have as much tension as I need to keep the moss on, but I'm actually not trying to keep the plant tied because it's already anchored in there really well. And I'm going to go to the back. Okay, let's see. And I'm going to do it a little bit tighter back here because there is no plant that I'm tying to. I'm just trying to get the moss down. But if you're going across the plant, you want to be really careful not to go too tightly, and you also want to be really strategic about where you put this line, because the plant does grow and you want it to grow and you want to allow it to grow. And you also don't want to, this fishing twine will go right through a stem or a leaf if it's on too tight. So you just want to be really careful. We're going to do all mounts today. I've got some staghorn ferns that I need to do, and it is hella hot outside. This is a perfect indoor activity. And I need to tie it to, see, I'm glad I left this little tail because now I'm having to use it. Of course, I need to get it out of its mess. Okay. Do you ever have days where things just don't go right? I'm having one of those days today. I went on Amazon and bought a front door lock because my son is about to start back to school, and sometimes he needs in the house when I'm not here, and he never remembers his key. And so I went and bought one of those padlock, the combination locks for the front door. And I almost had it all the way installed. And then the screw broke on it. It was, I think, a faulty screw because I wasn't using a lot of force. And so that happened, which was super annoying if you've ever had one of those days. It kind of started off that way, and then I've just dropped everything today. Everything I touch, I'm dropping. So may not be a good plant day, but that's okay. I dropped my coffee. I dropped my phone. I'm surprised it didn't break. I dropped my tripod setting this up. So, we all have those days. And there's nothing better than when you have one of those days just to sit down, slow down, and figure out what's going to make your day. And I decided I needed to just sit down and I needed to work with my plants because, again, it's just been one of those tough weeks and just a really trying day. So this is what we're doing. Sitting down in the air conditioning and making some really pretty plants. And my mood will be completely changed after this once I get through it. And I will relax tonight and have a cup of tea, and I will enjoy my plants and my new decor, and everything will be good again. Everything will be good with the world again. All right, so I'm finishing this up, and I'm actually where am I going to finish this? I'm going to come, I've got tons of string here lying down here, and I'm just going to work it however it's going to go up. And I'm just going to do it right here. And I'm going to tie it onto itself, I think, because I think if I try to go back to my original piece that's up further on the top, I'm going to get into a situation where the tension will come off of this, and then that won't be good. That's never good for anybody. Okay. I'm still doing square knots. I'm keeping track of making sure that I do a square knot. If you don't know how to do a square knot, there's lots of YouTube videos on it, how to do knots, but square knots don't slip, which is why you want to use them for this. And all right, let's cut this and then keep track of that, because the last thing I need is dogs eating stuff they're not supposed to. Okay, see, isn't that pretty? Very pretty. So I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to give it a good watering, and then I'm going to hang it. And I still like kind of the crispy look or the like fluffy look. If you don't like the fluffy look, you can trim this down and make it flat, but it's going to flatten over time, and I actually like it looking like that. So anyway, all right. Thanks for joining me on this one. I'm about to do 2 more. This video is already 15 minutes long, so I'm going to stop here. All right, thanks.